Tired eyes burning.
Hey y'all, Joefer here, the cranky old gay guy. So let me tell you, last night I was cranky as all get out. I was tired. I stayed home. I was invited to 2 different parties and I declined both because I was tired. I was also invited to go to a dance party at a bar and I declined because I wanted to stay home myself, alone, tired. So it's about 8:15, 8:20, and I'm sitting home watching Matlock. No, not the Andy Griffith Matlock, but the new Matlock with Kathy Bates. Is it good? No. It's actually kind of hard to watch sometimes because the acting is so stilted and the scripting is so stilted, and it's not a great program, and I can't see it being renewed for another season unless there are some changes made. Actually, I think it was renewed, and maybe this is the 2nd season, but it's not great, put it that way. Anyway, I get a call via Facebook. So it's a call over Facebook. Now, I don't normally answer these because they're usually from strangers and I don't know who they are, or it's because someone pushed the wrong button. But as you recall, in yesterday's video, I went to visit someone who had had a scooter accident. And this call was from him. And I thought, oh, it's late in the evening and he's calling. So maybe something's up. Maybe he needs a ride home from the hospital. Maybe they're releasing him early. So I answered, and that's not what it was. He had received a package from Amazon or somebody, and it was on his porch at his apartment, or his duplex apartment. And he has a camera on the door, so he knows that it's there. So he asked me if I would pick it up for him. He didn't want it to get stolen. And I can do that. But he said, and there is a phone charger in there, and my phone is dead here at the hospital. I'm wondering, can you bring it over to me? And I said, I can pick it up and bring it by. Is tomorrow okay? He goes, no, I need it tonight because I need to file some claim after midnight tonight, and I can't let it wait. So I took a deep breath and said, are you sure? And he said, yeah, I need it tonight. And I said, okay. And then he said, if you get here before 9 p.m., you can come up and visit. So he kept talking. It's like, okay, I gotta go. So I went, got dressed because I was in my little flannel pants. I wasn't gonna drive around and walk around town. I'm not some 20-year-old going to the gym in my flannel pajamas. That's not gonna happen. So I went over to his place. I got the package. I drove to the hospital. I went to the entrance that I was accustomed to, and it was all boarded up and closed. I don't know, renovation or something. So and the sign said, go to the one on Graham Street. So I went to that entrance, and there were about 6 parking spaces a block up on the street, and they were taken. So I had to go into a parking garage, which has the gate. You have to get your little tab and ticket. And once you are in the hospital, there are validation machines, so you don't have to pay. Well, otherwise it's like $5 for the first hour. So I did that, and I walked the 2 blocks to the main entrance that they wanted me to go to, and it's all closed up. The sign says, oh, if it's after 9 o'clock, go to the emergency room entrance. Well, it was 8:35. I called him. It wasn't going through. I texted him. It wasn't going through. And I was thinking, does my phone just not have reception? And then he started calling me, and every time he'd start to talk, his phone would hang up. Turns out he said that it's just a phone, it's a landline in the hospital that's bad. And I said, well, this is the story. This is where I'm at. I've already gone to 2 entrances, and I can't get in the hospital. I had also driven by another entrance that had lights on and someone was vacuuming inside, but everything was roped off, so you couldn't drive up there. So again, maybe renovations, I don't know. He kept saying, oh, I have to talk to a nurse and tell you which door to go to. And it's like, well, there's no doors to go to. I'm irritated as F right now. I'm really, really cranky. I'm giving up my night, my alone time, my personal time where I'm relaxing, trying to recharge from a long day. And I'm doing this as a favor because this is something that he said he needed. And then nothing's working out. The hospital signage is terrible. If you are going to close an entrance, you need big signs that say, at X a time, this time of the day, this is going to be closed. Or if it's a weekend and we're not going to be open on this door, you need to go to this area. And don't just say, go to the entrance on the opposite side, because there are more than one entrances to this hospital. It's a big hospital. So perhaps show a map or something? I don't know. So then his nurse gets on the phone and it's like, just go to the adult emergency room. It's like, okay, I am parked here. And in order to get to that side of the hospital, first of all, I said, which side of the hospital is it on? She couldn't tell me. And then she said, oh, it's, I said, is it the one facing the river or the one on the inland side? Oh, no, it's facing the river. I said, is it part of the new building? Yes, it's the new building. Well, it's not. I also stated that I'm in a parking garage and I can't get my car out unless I paid this $5, and I can't get into the lobby where I'm at to validate my card. And she goes, oh, well, I can't help you there. And I said, well, can you open one of these side doors and I can just cross over? It's like 20 feet to the other side of the hospital. It's a corridor and there are doors, and the doors say these doors are locked, outside of business hours. Well, if you're in that little corridor, just open the door and let me in. She said, oh, I can't do that. And I can't come down. And it's like, I'm irritated. I said, I don't want to yell at you, but your hospital is really messed up and you guys really need to get some coordination going. I said, now I'm going to have to pay for parking. And she goes, yeah, you have to pay for parking. And then Jerry is in the background going, oh, I'll pay for parking. I'll reimburse you. I'll take you out to dinner. I'll buy you coffee, whatever. He knows that I'm really pissed off. I get back in my car and he calls me again and he starts yakking about something. How he knows that I'm frustrated and all this. And it's like the ticket machine, I put my card in and then it won't accept my credit card. It keeps rejecting my card. Well, now I'm really, really irritated. It's like 9 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock. So I've been standing outside in the cold for 20, 25 minutes, talking on the phone, trying to get into this hospital. So I start driving around the building and the nurse is back on the phone. And I said, okay, I'm at the boarded up entrance. Now I'm at the other entrance. Where exactly is the emergency room? Because once you're in the parking lot, there's no signage. No, or if there's signage, I'm sorry. There's signage, but it's not lit up and it's dark, so you can't see it. And I start driving around the hospital and then Jerry gets back on the phone and starts talking about something about being on the riverside of the hospital. And I said, never mind, I see it. So I said, I hung up. I said, I'm going to park. And this is a parking lot. It is very, very full. And it is not on the riverside of the hospital. It is on the north side of the hospital, which is the freeway side of the hospital facing Seattle, which is not what the nurse had said. So that is irritating as well. So I park and I go in, and I've been to this ER before. When a couple of years when I had a kidney stone thing at like 1 a.m. and it was empty. And that also was a weekend. But I get in there and I see the guard and there's a metal detector and you have to walk through and all that. And I said, this is a package for a patient. The nurse told me to give it to you. And she goes, well, put it in the bin. And I said, okay. And I said, do I have to stay? And she goes, no, you have to take your shoes off and you have to put all your money in these boxes. And I said, are you kidding? They told me to leave it with you. And she said, well, I can't accept any packages. You need to take it over there to that desk where there was a couple reception people. And it's like 30 feet away. And I said, really? And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, I'm just going to leave then. And he can get his package tomorrow. And she goes, wait. I said, yes. And she goes, just walk around the metal detector and hand it to her and come right back. So I went, okay. And I grabbed the package and I took over there and the reception people were talking to someone. So I had to wait. And then I went up and she goes, what can I do for you? And I said, this is a package. The nurse said to give it to you to get to a patient. So I handed it to her and she goes, well, who's the patient? And I said, what's on the label? His name is blah, blah, blah. And his room number is, let me look it up. And she goes, I can look it up. And I was scrolling through my phone. She goes, is it room blah, blah, blah? And I said, yes. And she goes, okay. So who do I call? And I said, they said they would just come down and get it. And she goes, okay. So I get back, I leave, get in my car, and I am furious. As far as cranky, I'm cranky as all get out. And I drive home, and as I'm approaching home, that Facebook phone call starts coming in again, and it's Jerry. So I am driving. I'm not going to answer while I'm driving. It's like I'm not in the mood. He hangs up. He calls again. I'm now a block from home. I am not going to answer the phone until I get home. So I pull into my parking space, backing in. My street is really packed because there's a business district with restaurants and stuff a block from here. So parking is always tight. So I'm backing into a space and he's calling again. It rings like 17 times. I answer and I said, yes. And he goes, hey, I want to thank you for, I know you're frustrated. And I was like, yeah, Jerry, I get it. I'm not in the mood to talk. I'm going to let you go and we can talk later. Oh, okay. And it just keeps going on and on. And I know he feels that he put me out, and he mentions that because I do feel put out. Not by him so much, but I am put out by the whole situation. I am put out by the lack of communication in the hospital. I'm put out that the hospital nurse doesn't know what side of the building the entrance is on. That to me is crazy. This nurse is someone who's been there a while. I heard her on the phone saying that she's been there for years and years and that these are just the rules. And I know that Jerry was saying, can you go down and pick this up? And she's saying, no, I'm a nurse. I can't do that. Well, there's somebody who can. Well, no, not right now. You'll have to wait. So I don't know if that means that he's not going to get his package till the morning or not. And if that's the case, why did I have to deliver it at night? Because when he initially called about it, he stated that the nurse said she would go pick it up for him. So again, I don't know what was said. I wasn't there, but it's miscommunication. The hospital needs to do better on signage. I've been there during the day and it gets confusing because there are a lot of signs, N065 this way, Graham 501 this way. And they also, at the Graham Street entrance, I use that entrance as well. I have the urologist I go to and the ENT that I've been to have offices in a medical building that is part of that address. So I've gone in there before, and you used to be able to park and walk right in. Well, the parking garage right across the street, they now have it blocked off, and they did this last summer. And that upper level now is just for valet parking. So you can't just park and walk in. You have to go down a block, go through a subterranean parking garage, find a space, and then either walk up a very steep slope, because the garage is down here and the hospital entrance is up here, to get back to the hospital, or you have to do the stairwell in the parking garage to take a sky bridge to an area that hooks on to the main hospital, and then you go down this long corridor and through another corridor, and then you reach the security people with metal detectors. It's very confusing. The ticket machine, I've had problems getting out of that bottom garage because I thought about parking there as well. Again, I thought that maybe I wouldn't have to pay if it was the upper street garage because it's so late at night and the garage is empty. But all of the garages are gated. And I noticed that too when I came in originally and I found those entrances that are all boarded over. Those garages were all lit up and empty, but all of them also had gates. Now, it's frustrating as well. It says free parking for patients and visitors, but with validation. And again, they do have a validation machine in the lobby, but I didn't see one in the ER lobby. So even if I'd parked in a garage and walked to the ER lobby, I wouldn't have been able to get validation. Not unless they have it hidden behind the desk somewhere. The gates on the garages, if the hospital is located in an area that is like on a train line I could see them wanting gates so people wouldn't park there and then commute downtown to go to work. But they're not. I can also understand if they say, oh, it's for security. Well, yeah, you don't want like a van driving in there and someone ripping off cars and then just driving out. However, even if there is a gate, if there's 2 people in this van, they can easily get in, start doing their theft, and before they leave, on their way back down from the top of the garage, as they're doing their thievery, they could send one of whoever else is in the van to go in and get the card validated, and then they could drive out. So security, that's really not much security. I think it's just a moneymaker, because there are people that will not, maybe it's their first time in the hospital, they'll come back to the garage and they'll just pay to get out of there because it is so frustrating, because they haven't seen the validation machine. The first time I needed my card validated, when they first started this, I went all the way back up to the medical office and said, hey, I forgot to get this validated. And they go, oh no, that machine's down in the lobby. And it's like, where? Oh, it's near the elevators. So I went down, I'm looking around, there's a big ass lobby with tables because there's a food cart or something during the day. And there was a card table, not next to the elevators, but kind of in the lobby, the big open area and down a ways, just a little card table with what looked like a small printer on it. Nowhere did it say, this is the validation machine. There was no sign, there was nothing. You had to go up to it and look at your card, and there's a little picture on the back of the card of how to insert it. And then you look at the machine and you see where there's a scanner that you're supposed to scan and slip it in. And then the machine stamps a new barcode on it, but it doesn't tell you that you're finished. And it stamps the barcode. If you put the card in wrong, it stamps it over the original barcode. So now that ticket is invalid because when you get to the parking garage, it can't be read. So that's confusing as well. How about a sign that says, this is the validation machine, and put your card in this side up? That would be helpful as well. Again, a lack of communication and coordination on the part of the hospital. So yeah, it was super, super frustrating. I didn't have the validation issue last night because there was no machine I could access. Oh boy. That's all I got on that. I've been had comments and emails over the last few weeks saying, you're not very cranky. Well, I try to keep it at a minimum because it can become overwhelming and put me in a really negative mood. And it did last night. I'll tell you, I was pissed off up until I went to bed. I did watch Matlock when I got home, and yeah, it wasn't great. And I don't know what, I watched an episode of something called School Spirit, season 2, about high school kids and teachers that die in a school and they live there forever. And I don't even know what channel that's on. Anyway, did it heighten my mood or lessen my crankiness? Maybe. I still went to bed cranky about the whole situation. And I will not be going back to that hospital anytime soon if I can help it, unless there's an emergency. Okay, that's where I'm at today. Everybody, I'm in a better mood. I know it doesn't sound like it right now, but I'm in a much better mood this morning. I want to wish all of you a happy Sunday, happy February. Society. All right, I got to go. My voice is giving out, and I don't want to get cranky again. All right, bye, everyone.
Tired eyes burning, lack of sleep kills, nerves frayed to ash, cranky rage spills. Muffled voices, words unclear, communication wreck, hatred draws near. Parking garages infuriate soul. Endless ramps swallow control. Metal detectors strip my pride. wrath boils inside, resentment deep, no place to buy.